Good evening and welcome to the Shadows of Drakkenheim. My name is Monty Martin and this is the Dungeon Dudes weekly Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition live stream campaign run by me as the Dungeon Master.
And I'm Kelly McLaughlin playing Wilhelm Wolfsbane, the human rogue swashbuckler. And we're joined today by our good friends.
Jill Denitis playing Rudy Whitaker, the Shifter Eldritch Knight.
And Joe O'Gorman playing Wrath, the Aasimar, Pact of the Tome, Warlock of the Great Old One.
Thank you for joining us once again. If you are just tuning in for the very first time, Kelly and I post new videos every Thursday on our YouTube channel where we cover everything Dungeons & Dragons, including advice for players and guides for dungeon masters. Check it out at youtube.com/dungeon dudes. One word.
You can also join us on Tuesdays when we record the campaign live on Twitch. Check us out from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Time at twitch.tv/dungeon_dudes. You can also watch the video episodes of the show on YouTube, which again has no underscore.
And you can find the entire show on Apple Podcast, Google Play, and Spotify as well, including both Season 1 and Season 2.
Of course, don't forget to look at the links below for our Teespring store where you can find all of your favorite Dungeon Dudes t-shirts like Troll Killer, but also some amazing new ones like Way Bigger Than Ducks, The Dusk Wardens, and Clunk Clunk. Or you can look at bit.ly/Dungeon Dudes merch.
Just a bit of an announcement. The campaign will be taking a break next week, which is March 3rd, 2020, but our show will not be taking a break as Kelly will be returning to run Monster of the Week once again. And our good friend Mitch will be joining in for that as well. So I will be off next week. Kelly will be running Monster of the Week. And then the following week, the second week in March, we will be right back with Shadows of Drakkenheim. With that, let us return to the Shadows.
Drakkenheim is no more. For 15 years, we foolishly believed the madness and mayhem of that crumbling city was confined to the ruins. We were wrong. Insidious horrors have crept out of the shadow of Drakkenheim into a world unprepared for such nightmares. Tales of strange magic, swirling haze, and unspeakable terrors echo through the villages and towns surrounding that accursed place. Now, the Dusk Wardens, a new band of heroes, are tasked with driving out the seeping tendrils of the spreading darkness before it takes root.
Welcome back to the Shadows of Drakkenheim. When last we left our heroes, they were still in the small village of Schafberg, trying to get to the bottom of the strange happenings and secrets amongst the villagers there. Invading and impersonating the local tavern, one of the local taverns, by taking up the identity of Linus, their contact from the Amethyst Academy, they drew out several attackers who tried to kidnap Wrath, who was posing as Linus. This led to a string of events that culminated in several of the villagers, including the town constable and members of the local militia, attempting to accost Linus in his cottage himself. Our heroes intervening, finding Linus unconscious and being beaten by the town guard, decided to first intervene and then kill them to a man. So
My bad.
The local constable and several prominent members of the local militia now bleeding on the floor, our heroes are left with a interesting decision to make. Let's find out what they'll do next.
When we last left off, we had Linus over one of your shoulders, and we had one living, tied up guy.
This is correct. So before the situation went back end up, you had knocked unconscious one of the militiamen. However, the cook from the the Goose and Goblin was also there. Killed him.
Yep.
You killed the constable.
Yes.
And you killed the blacksmith's sons as well.
Yes.
Well, Wrath did. He blew a hole in them with Eldritch Blast.
Yes,
Yeah.
I take full responsibility.
So we're trudging back to the elves' house, I believe, with these two bodies.
Yes.
Okay, so you are bringing the unconscious militiamen and the unconscious Linus back to the two elves.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm carrying them over my shoulders. Better get
Okay.
back there real quick.
Are they like in the middle of town, or is there like a back way that we could cut through?
Again, you could take your time and trek along the outskirts of town. But unfortunately, to get to their cottage, it is along the lake itself. Not far from the chapel of Saint Irene, which is the Church of the Sacred Fire. So the last kind of leg of the journey, you will have to move through town.
To be fair, we've killed most of the people that could see us.
It's true.
So,
They
I assure you, there are plenty more people who can see us, and I would rather not get into another fight.
well, we should move quickly and inconspicuously.
Yes, perhaps along the water,
yeah.
as to not draw attention.
That makes sense. Better move as quickly as possible. I don't know when this guy, and I like shove him on my shoulder, is gonna wake up. And Linus, he had some goop tossed down his throat, and I don't know what kind of effects that's gonna have on him. So we better get him to the elves quick.
Are you okay carrying both of them?
Of course. I carried bales of hay bigger than this on both my shoulders before.
All right, onward then. So-
Okay. So, you make your way back towards town, heading along the outskirts, and then you're gonna follow the little stream that empties into. Okay, following that stream will lead you past the mill and the mayor's house, but also that kind of area with the ruined inn and the blacksmith shop. Is that the direction that you want to go, or do you want to skirt the town even wider?
Well, I assume that like if we go along the stream, we're gonna head straight to the elves' house. But also, I assume there's not much lighting along the stream.
No, this is a rural village, so there are no street lamps. As night falls, the only light is the light cast by the individual homes themselves. And there are a few members of the militia that are assigned to the night watch that carry bullseye lanterns. But as you approach the village, they are conspicuously not present, probably owing to the fact that most of the people on the night watch went out to Lionesses as well.
So I think the idea is if we stay along the stream and out of, like, if we see lights, we stay out of any sort of light source.
Okay. And you are going to move with stealth or slowly, or are you going to move quickly?
With stealth.
Yeah, we want to.
Yeah, I'm carrying two guys, so
Okay. In that case, I'm going to have you all make me a group stealth check.
Come on, dice.
10.
13.
17.
Okay. And all of you can now roll me 1d20, please.
7.
2. Okay, I'm not using that dice.
9.
Okay. So, you head along the stream, going under the bridge that reaches over it, past the mill, and skirting along the banks of the lake until you get to the cottage of Lorwyn and Domhnall. Knocking at the door, Lorwyn answers and sees the body of Linus slung over one of your shoulders, and she immediately, her eyes go wide, and she says, "Is he okay?"
Well, he's had some sort of poison shoved down his throat. Assume the one that they tried to shove down mine and any of us since in that old inn.
Someone shot me with some.
I've been stabbed multiple times.
What happened? Come on, come in quickly. Who is that?
Well, it was one of the fellows that was trying to help barge down this old man's door. One of the Nat Watch, I assume.
The man goes up, Domhnall, the elven man, goes up and pulls up the man's head by his hair and looks at his face. Says, think this is the storekeeper's brother.
Might want to tie him up to make sure when he wakes, it doesn't cause no more trouble.
Perhaps blindfold him as well. If he wakes up and is still not of sound mind, he may suspect you are involved in this, so I think it's best if he doesn't know exactly where he is until we get to the bottom of this.
Mm-hmm.
Mistakes were made this night.
Tell us what happened.
We
planned an infiltration towards the what was the name?
Goose and Goblin.
The Goose and Goblin. We had planned to gather information and hopefully find out not only the means of this, what would could only be called mind control, but also the source of Linus's problems, his missing items. When I was snooping around in disguise as Linus, they attacked me. The cook, Rudy was able to come to my rescue, but then we had to make a very loud escape. I think several were damaged or killed in my escape with Rudy.
And then we went to check up on Linus to see if he was doing okay, and the militia and several other people were out there. We approached with stealth and with plans to subdue several of the members to aid Linus. Certain members of our party decided that subduing them was not good enough.
They were coming in with guns forward and as ablaze, not to do the same to us.
Just because somebody is stationed to kill you does not mean that it is right to kill them.
Wilhelm, I would have died if I hadn't taken those lives.
No, but now instead 2 young boys are dead, and we do not know if they were acting on their own accord.
They would have killed myself. They would have killed Rudy. They would have killed you. This is not the time to discuss the rules of war. We were in a situation that needed to be dealt with.
They would have killed us, but we could have still outdone them and taken them out non-lethally. I say that having just shot 2 men in the back. And I understand that this is something that has happened.
The point is, we need to lay low. There has been many casualties this evening, and we do not know if they are still looking for us. The word travels fast in this town for those who are under this effect.
Lorwyn turns to Domhnall with a very grave look on her face. She mutters something in Elven and he replies. And then she looks back at you, Wilhelm, realizing that you do speak Elven. What she said was, "It's not safe for us if they stay here."
We don't plan to stay here long, but we need healing. We are injured, and we did find clues.
Domhnall speaks. Whatever's happened, Linus has been implicated in it. The people we heard only a while ago, cries going out around town. People heading up towards the chapel, crying out for where he was and crying out for members of the militia. Word travels fast when people are screaming around town. So, if people if the constable knows and the militia was looking for Linus, do you know if you would be implicated as well?
I feel like everybody that saw us is either in this room or dead.
We didn't leave no one behind to tell them that we were the ones.
The only thing is, the people in the Goose and Goblin, we don't know what happened to them. They didn't see your face, they didn't see mine. But there could be survivors looking for Rudy.
This has become quite the mess. Not what we intended at all.
Quite the mess is a bit of an understatement. We don't know if these people are innocent or not. If they're acting of accord or willingly. But they're still people's neighbors. They're still people's families. Did you find anything that might tell you what has happened to them? What they're acting like?
Yes. We have a location, and we found passages beneath the inn. Everything points to the swamp nearby. This includes, earlier I asked you about strange creatures that we encountered. They too seem to have come from the swamp. All the clues that we have put together so far, whether or not we've made a mess of things in this town, lead us to that swamp. And perhaps it would be best if we maybe vacated the premises for a while anyway, so if everything is leading us to the swamp, it might be best that we go there and find out the cause of this. My hope is that whatever we find in that swamp results in us understanding what has happened in this town, and that what has happened in this town is that we did not just kill people who were innocent and perhaps maybe they were transformed in some way or a replica of whatever the former person they were. Maybe we'll find the people being held captive in the swamp so that...
We won't know until we go.
I'm having a hard time coming to terms with the fact that I murdered 3 people tonight without knowing if they deserved it or not.
Well, this is your first taste of war, it sounds like.
Rudy, you were a soldier once, yes?
Once a soldier, always a soldier.
That doesn't have to be true. Although, what would I know? I've never been to war. But we're not at war, Rudy.
We are. Against whatever force is controlling these people, whatever force is happening to this world, we are at war against it.
Soldiers are brash and are trained to murder. They're trained to kill the people who oppose them. We are investigators, and we are investigating crimes that are being committed in this town. And until we have just cause, we can't go around chopping everybody's head off.
I do recall being shot in the chest with a dart.
We don't know.
Something it shot to kill.
But we don't know.
They tried to force an unknown substance, a poison, into your comrade's mouth. Now, are you here to save yourself, or them, or us? Who do you value the most? I, for one, value myself above a militia who knows what they are getting into, what they signed up for, and if they are willing to use instruments to kill, they should know that they may be killed in turn.
Rule number 77 is never use your skills against the innocent.
That is your rule. That is not mine.
We don't know if they were acting on their own behalf. If something else is controlling them, then they are innocent.
Then the thing that is controlling them will be punished accordingly.
But what is controlling them? What is influencing them in this way? You say that you found this location in the swamp.
Oh.
Do you have any indication of where it is or what it's like?
We have...
What might be there?
We don't know what might be there except the creatures that we faced in the basement, but all I know is that it seems that perhaps they were bringing people to the swamp and crossing them off a list of all the townsfolk.
What we
A
do
list
know,
of the townsfolk.
there was also that potion that they were trying to force down, and that they gave to Lannis as well.
I pulled out the list, and I'm going to look at it. Are the elves' names on here?
The elves' names are not on here, but the words "those elves" are on here.
And they're not crossed out.
They're not crossed out.
I fold back the piece of paper again and put it in my pocket. Are either of you two good at discerning poisons?
I can neutralize a poison, says Lorwyn. And if these poisons are in the veins of our friend here, I can tend to him now. I might be able to identify it.
Well, it might be poison, but it might be something else. We don't know. It might be more poison of the man than anything. Because what we saw on that list is that we assume that people have been given it and turned over somehow.
Yes, the poison might just be the means to get them into a place where they can be administered this other, how do you say it?
Might be the catalyst.
Sentence.
Yeah.
Yes. The Linus seems to be stricken with it, but this villager, he might have another level of control.
Lorwyn says, "Did anyone see you come here? Did anyone see you bring Linus here?"
No. We were...
Not to our knowledge.
We can keep him here. But the other man, the shopkeeper's brother, not sure his name, but we can't keep him here, and we can't keep you here. We can't risk that.
We will leave.
What do we do with this man?
We
But
will
in the
take
meantime,
him.
we can tend your wounds, we can investigate this poison, and we'll help you figure out the next steps. Dorian says, Dorian adds, "It is dire that it has come to killing people who may be innocent. But we don't know what faces us yet. We don't know if these people are being controlled by some magic or compelled to become fanatics, if they're acting of this way of their own accord or not. Regardless of that, any of us dying, means none of them can be saved."
I agree. We need to keep ourselves alive until we can get to the bottom of it. Now, by all means, maybe we need to be less liberal with our weapons when we go in. But if it comes down to survival, we gotta stay surviving.
I understand surviving. Perhaps I'm just not comfortable with the way that we survived tonight.
Wilhelm, we will get to the bottom of this. I do not wish to shed more blood. It is always a last resort. However, those boys beat me to the inch of my life. I don't think they were of their own mind.
I'm pretty sure I remember you yelling something very gleeful while you blew holes through their chest.
We all show our true
sound like me.
selves when we
Sound
are
like me.
in that kind of danger. It's like me, the reason.
Didn't you inhale the blood of your enemies?
I inhaled the air to get some pure, oxygen into my system so I could think straight.
I don't know what rule allows you to shoot 2 fleeing foes in the back, but this is not a time for blame.
There is no rules for that. That is why I'm so concerned. I shot 2 men in the back tonight that I don't know if they were innocent or not.
I do not hold you in less regard, Wilhelm, for that act. For
Agreed.
because of you and Rudy, I am still alive. What I will say is that a rabid wolf, although does not want to be put down, sometimes it has to be, even if it isn't of its right mind.
Interesting analogy.
I am a Wolves
those little boys were rabid wolves. What I'm saying is, the quicker we get to the bottom of this, the better.
If the sickness is like rabies, would we know what rabies... Anyways.
We are familiar with rabies.
Certainly the sickness of animals
Yeah.
and the madness that animals can be inflicted by.
Animal madness.
Yeah.
We did not want to deal with Horus in the way we did, but it was a necessary step towards purging the evil.
I think the best thing we can do is going forward, be a bit more cautious, ask more questions, and do our best to keep each other in our right minds.
Rule number 75 is lead by example, not explanation. I prided myself on being a man who led by example, even though I had an explanation for every action I took. Tonight, my actions went against the examples that I had set. I hope that I can do better, and I hope that you two can do better with me. I hope that none of us are happy about the blood that we shed, but it was shed, and we stopped the rest of the town from being alerted to our involvement in this.
Lorwyn says, "You're a strange one with your rules, but I would say that one learns as much from a good example as a bad example. And sometimes leadership is found in owning up to one's mistakes."
Wise words.
I will tend to your friend. You will need to leave. I am concerned, regardless, that if these people will get violent, and if they will attack, that we and Linus might be next, regardless. And I will say, for what it's worth, that if they come here for us, I will not hesitate.
I would hope not.
I hope you can distance yourself from us. We don't want to cause more problems.
Now about this other man. Shopkeeper's brother?
I suggest we take him with us and have him lead us to the source of this problem. We can at least keep an eye on him while he is within our possession.
Certainly. With that, you may take a short rest. Lorwyn tends to Linus, but the other man is left unconscious. He seems to come to. He's got a rather serious concussion, so he's still kind of kept under for the time being, but he could be revived if you want to.
The elves mentioned that they could heal. Do they offer any healing?
Yes. She is able to cast Prayer of Healing. And thus, you can all get a few hit points back. She invokes a prayer to her ancestors, and you all regain 16 hit points.
Woo!
Thank you.
I'm just not going to use any of my hit dice.
I still have to. Oh.
Alright.
The words she uses are an incantation calling to the cycles of life and death. And as she does so, she clutches a symbol that, depending on which direction you look at it from, it is either the sun or the moon.
As we're taking our short rest, Wilhelm is kind of sitting off in the corner. He pulls out an old pipe, and he's just smoking by the window, solemnly.
Well, that doesn't do me no good for the magic that I have, but you best be cautious going forward.
Are you running low on... I don't know how magic works.
Magic energy? For the most part, I got none.
Fascinating.
So, at the end of the time, Lorwyn emerges and she says, Linus is fine. The poison that courses through his veins is completely conventional. It is simply an oil of Tajit. It will put you into a stupor. It's common amongst thieves and assassins. Humans trade in it quite often. The materials for it are somewhat rare, but nothing exotic, nothing that couldn't be found in these parts. Easy enough with the right knowledge to make, if you know the right herbs and the right substances to be harvested from insects or plants.
Do you mind if I take that with me?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I mean, you can.
I mean, I already
you
had
want
it equipped.
Oh, you got it? Okay.
I
You can
have
it.
I would like to cast using a ritual identify on the unconscious prisoner.
Okay. So, over the course of the ritual, so you cast Identify. So you, and here is what you learn. There is no spell that is currently affecting him,
Interesting.
but the residualness of a spell, of some sort of magic, is still in his mind.
Oh.
And what the spell reveals to you is that some magic has altered his brain. Like the magic, whatever spell did this, effectively gave him brain damage.
Lorlin, what do you make of this? He's had some sort of alteration to his mind. It seems to be something of a permanent nature.
This would require powerful magic to reverse. Magic beyond my expertise. This is real damage here. It is permanent and irreversible. It's more than what a simple spell on its own could achieve. But magic has done this to him nonetheless.
Maybe something the Academy could potentially help out with. Linus, maybe, if he had his right equipment.
Which we still need to locate.
My hope is that it may be within the area of our next investigation.
Linus stumbles up and he says, "Oh, what happened?"
We framed you for multiple murders.
"Oh, you and my second wife. Well, seems like I'll have to skip town pretty soon. Wait, are you serious?"
Yes, Linus. Many people have been killed on your behalf.
Well, they
What?
We
not
haven't.
on his behalf, per se.
I mean,
in
You're saying
in protection of you.
I just remember the constable came up and they nicked me with that dagger and everything went black. It was just like the feeling when I had all them drinks over at the tavern.
what my friend Wrath is trying to say is we may have adopted your personality and likeness for a time, and now the entire town might suspect you as us.
Also, Rudy's sort of in on it too, so you're not alone.
So
True.
Linus, you and Rudy are wanted. Oh, this has
Don't
gotten
worry.
out of hand.
I'm probably wanted in a lot more places than this, so it's all good.
I thought I've known you for 8 years, and you've just been a quiet sheriff in a quiet town. What do you mean?
Linus,
Remember when we met? We said we weren't going to tell each other about our past.
You didn't find
matter.
any sign of my things, did you?
No,
It
but
wouldn't be
No.
such a problem. I could, use a bit of magic and disguise my face and all that stuff.
We're working on it, Linus.
unfortunately, we did not find it in the bar. That it may have been taken from you, but we are on the path to find out what is going on in this crazy town.
So it weren't in that bar.
Nope.
They must have taken it somewhere else. Valuable stuff, that.
And we want to get it back to its rightful owner. So we have to think about what is our next leg of our journey.
Well, oh! The elves. Nice folk, suppose?
They tended to you and made sure that you were okay.
Oh, thank you. I wish I could repay you with something, but I'm not at my house and all my belongings have been stolen.
Oh yeah, your house is also a makeshift graveyard.
Oh, that's
I
just
wouldn't
wonderful.
go back there anytime soon
Yeah,
until we're finished with our investigation.
I would recommend laying low with the elves for a while.
Well, thank you for taking me in.
Do you have any tips for washing blood out of hard wood?
Oh, prestidigitation. It's a wonderful spell.
Yeah, like this. And I wash the blood off of you.
Oh, thank God. That was going to haunt me for days. Thank you, Ruby.
You're welcome.
Linus, I
But you ain't come any closer to figuring out what them all up to.
We are several steps closer.
the unconscious man here.
Oh,
Yes, I know this is not how you expected to be awoken today.
that's one of the militia men. Donovan, I think.
He is the only survivor.
Why him?
Because
He was the first one we came across.
I instigated with him. And
Oh.
then the other two instigated with the others.
It just
and
kind of worked out that way.
so forth and so on. It's a long...
Anyways, he seems to have had his mind altered in a very permanent way. The magic is far beyond my capabilities. We hope to find more in the swamp.
His mind's been altered. Not like just a spell. Beyond that, then, you say?
It seems that way. My concern is that it could be something far superior to anything I've encountered before.
Now, where did you say this was in the swamp?
I pull out the map and set it down in front of Linus.
Oh, my. Well, that's at least 4 days out through the swamps. Through the wetlands.
4 days?
At least, by what I can see. It's pretty dangerous. Giant crocodiles, trolls, all manner of beasts out that way as well.
Where did you find this map, Wilhelm?
It was in the basement of the Goose and Goblin in a secret room that led to a secret passage that was directed towards the swamp.
Could we use that secret passage again?
I'm a little nervous about re-entering the Goose and Goblin after you exploded most of the people in there.
I mean,
But people have been missing for days, and then they return. If it's 4 days away, so they would be gone at least a week, if not more. That would explain why they are gone for so long.
It might be the safest route to uncover where this...
But normal folk going out that way, they'd be killed for sure. How are they getting out that far on their own?
The passage is probably a much safer route, but can we take the passage?
think the Flame Keepers have anything to do with it?
Are they on the list, Wilhelm?
I pull out the list.
Both the Flame Keepers are marked on the list.
It seems that they are also victims of this.
Which leads me to think that I'm a little wary about going by their place looking for more clues in case they decide to instigate with us as well, and we are left with minimal choices.
Now,
But the Flame Keepers, they might be the ones responsible.
they might have crossed their own names off this list. Might be them instigating all of this.
Beyond the constable, they're the most respected people in town.
It is a valid theory. However, I do believe that this list is... They are likely the perpetrators behind gathering more for this cause. I think they are also victims of this unknown assailant.
Might have been the first victims.
And then they were recruited to bring people to the church, funneling them through underground tunnels to the swamp, where the people were changed and brought back. I'm not sure. Going to the church might reveal more, but at the same time, going to the church might cause more problems, and it might end up just leading us to the swamp anyways.
I do believe that we have worn out our welcome in the city, especially as Rudy is one of our travelers. They know that we are conspirators with her. It would not be wise to be seen in this town until we can find out the...
That's true. But even though you know where you're going, going out in that swamp on your own, taking whatever path out there, and who knows what you're actually going to find when you get there.
This is true. Do you have any... Linus, do you have any way to connect with your possessions? Do you have any way of reaching out to them in any sort of capacity?
Without them? No.
Now we could, potentially before we go to the swamp, rather than go and greeting the Flame Keepers, we could do some reconnaissance.
I could...
Could you make me invisible again?
Yes.
Do we do the Goose and Goblin plan a second time?
I'll say that I stay invisible this time instead of rushing in. But yeah, it could work again.
Perhaps
Under the guise of...
maybe not somebody of high importance like the constable.
What about someone we...
Maybe one of those bar patrons who just responded with, "Yep."
Maybe as our friend, the shopkeeper's brother.
Ah. Yeah, that might work.
I have a dangerous idea.
Who else is on the list that has a name crossed off?
I actually think it's best that we pick somebody that maybe is either here or laying in Linus's house, because there's no chance of them being in two places at once, and we don't put anybody at risk. I pull out the list and I look at all the names crossed off.
It's a lot. The blacksmith, their entire family, the Beckermans who own the Golden Grain Inn, they're crossed off the list. Both the Flame Keepers, the Reeve, the constable, the local storekeeper. It goes on and on. Several farming families.
Well,
going over it,
constable's dead.
At least it approaches half the village.
What if the only concern is that maybe someone of importance could get more information from the Flame Keepers, like the whereabouts of the possessions?
It's a risky move. I hear where you're going, and I like it. We could get more information. But if they ask you questions with the intent of you knowing what's going on, and you don't give them the right response, then the ruse could be destroyed quite swiftly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to risk another massacre. I think we're on to something. I just want this to be a well thought out plan.
I think if maybe we could go in as someone they know, saying that they saw us going in the direction of the swamp.
I have another dangerous idea.
Shoot.
Rudy, you're wanted.
I am.
You could become the constable and bring Rudy in and say that you plan to take her. and hope. No, this sounds too dangerous.
I love it.
Damn it.
It might be your only shot.
What do I do? How long can you make me invisible?
That way, wherever they take them, if they're taking them there, you might have a way in.
I volunteer as tribute.
Rudy, it's going to be dangerous.
What
Play
is it?
dead.
I vol-
Convincing.
I can play
Rudy,
my part.
it may be worth striking you with some of the poison.
You want to actually poison me?
May I ask? Lorlin, can you replicate the effects of the poison without the ill effects?
What are
Some
you
kind
hoping to
of
do?
sleeping agent that you can administer to Rudy.
But if Rudy's asleep, if things go south,
We
I think as long as I'm tied up proper, right? Or proper, so I
Well-
can get out.
One of the properties of this poison is that it actually creates sleep. It's almost natural sleep. The poison itself lingers in the body for 24 hours, and in this way it leads to unconsciousness. But if you are harmed, like sleep, you wake. The only problem is the poison stays in your system and you remain groggy like our friend Linus is here. But
So what I suggest is a magically induced sleep
instead,
that we could wake you out of in an instant.
I can offer you this. And she goes to a chest and she produces a vial of this very fine and soft, creamy oil. And she hands it to you and she says, "You can take this." There are 5 doses in it. It will seal wounds and it will also cure most poisons and diseases. It's a restorative ointment. Instead of Lil being all Blackjack Mel's formula, this is the Elven way of making it.
do you want to hang on to that?
Fascinating. Yes.
Is it the what's it called?
Keogotten's ointment. Yeah.
That's it.
Well,
It smells of aloe when you open it up.
so
Mhm.
Rudy's going to be unconscious. You're going to be disguised as the constable. What's old Wilhelm going to do?
You will be invisible.
Well, I could get used to that. It's working out quite well for my investigation purposes.
Now, is the constable the best choice?
He would do the arresting.
I think he would be. And if we move quickly, we can continue our disguise.
I can also assure you there is no chance of the constable walking into town while you're disguised as him.
As
Now-
long as they don't find his corpse.
What do we do about this guy? And I pointed to
I
the
did
unconscious
hide
guy
it.
again. We
When
still
you're
haven't figured out
disguised?
now what we're doing with this
Wait.
ruffian.
To sell it even harder, while you're disguised as the constable, we free him, we bring him outside, you wake him up, you tell him the plan, and then he and you... Oh god, no, never mind, because then your disguise doesn't last forever, right?
He can redo it.
We must work quickly.
I don't know what to do with this man. He's seen all of our faces.
No, I think
That might
No.
be.
it's a right way. I like the way it was going.
He didn't see our faces. I knocked him out before he saw any of us.
I don't know. I think I would just bump him off if it were me. Lorwyn says, on the flip side, it would make for a much more convincing ruse if you had an actual stooge.
Agreed.
Oh, berries.
He's still knocked out, right?
He is.
Um,
You can use these smelling salts to revive him.
I think it might be best that we. How far is the temple from this location?
Not far. Like, it's basically across the road.
So, we should. Is it still dark?
Yeah.
It's like in the middle
It's
of the
night.
night.
Yep.
How do we like our plan?
Well,
The nature of the beast as things go.
rule number 1 is always have a plan of attack, and at least we have a plan of attack. Nowhere in my rules... No, wait, it does say always know your way out. That's rule number 2.
So,
Our way out is run into the
revisit
swamp.
the plan. I will disguise myself as the constable. I will
Make me invisible.
make you invisible.
We're actually gonna poison me. Cool. Right?
Poison Rudy. Have a restorative ointment.
You better restore me back to where I was.
Why can't?
Rudy, I assure you we will not do well if things go south without you.
All
Is there
right.
any way
I
you
trust
can
y'all.
induce a sleep that is non-poisonous?
With a sleep spell. But I do not know such a spell.
I do, but I don't have my spell book.
Yes, Linus, we know.
One of my favorite spells as a young mage used to help it, cure the insomnia that way.
Wizards.
You could just cast sleep on yourself? I wish I could have taken up spell casting. That sounds delightful.
well,
Got me through my master's thesis
Well, this plan...
and the third divorce.
Oh, thanks, Linus. Thank you. I'm learning so much about you, and the more I learn, the more interesting you become.
And the more comfortable I am impersonating you.
Well, this plan sounds like berries to me.
Yes, we must. If we move quickly, we can continue our ruse this evening.
I say
All
we
right.
go.
How are you guys going to do it?
How are you gonna carry me all the way over there if I'm sleeping?
How? Can I try to lift you up?
You can try.
I try to carry Rudy. How does that go?
It's difficult but possible.
Both of us working together.
Yeah.
So, let's we'll go outside,
Tie me up,
tie you up.
but loose so I can really get out.
Yeah,
of it
kind of
if
a
I need
weak.
to.
I mean, actually, we don't even need to tie you up if you're unconscious.
Well, just in case I come out of it.
We'll do the old fake tie. It'll look like you're tied up, but you could slip out of it with a gentle tug.
How good are you at
Exactly.
the fake tie?
I am excellent,
Okay,
I think.
get to
I'm just
work.
saying we need to make this as convincing as possible, and I don't think these townsfolk would leave me untied up
Mhm.
if this were the case.
All right. So we go out. I do a very loose tie on
Okay.
Rudy.
You loose tie Rudy. You're proficient with these tools,
Yes.
so you can tie a knot that can be pulled that can be undone by pulling a string that you've tucked into her hand.
Yeah.
Right.
So
So
hold on to that.
It's still an action to release yourself.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to disguise myself as the constable.
Okay. So you are now disguised as the constable. Linus reminds you,
His name was Gregor Richter.
Thank you, Linus. This is actually very helpful.
Any other tips that you can tell us about Gregor? Did he have a favorite food, color?
Don't know much else.
He
All right.
hates questions.
But-
We knew that.
This man that you got, Allard, one of his two good friends, so you might be able to find out something about him from that.
Allard Donovan.
You know what?
Allard is one of the ones that you killed. Donovan. This is Donovan. Donovan Fisher, who's the storekeeper's brother.
Play up that Rudy knocked your head a little too hard, and you have lost. You have gaps in your memory. It might be. I don't know. It might work.
I love it. That's
Now-
a great idea.
I'm going
Maybe
to...
disguise yourself with like a black eye or something.
Do I have to give her one of the doses of this poison?
Yes, you would if you
a
want
whole
to.
dose? Can you give me a half dose?
It's got to be full.
All right.
And then you are going to willingly succumb to it.
Cheers.
Okay.
Now, Rudy, before... Oh,
It's not like I
no.
heard some- yeah.
Before you do this, keep in mind... She's passed out.
I'm going
It's not like I
to.
couldn't fake sleeping.
I'm going to take Rudy's axes.
Okay.
And keep them on my
Okay.
person.
Alrighty.
Can do that.
So now where are you?
I had to wait till you were.
And then
unconscious.
when are you going to wake up Donovan and where?
So we're gonna do it.
ASAP.
We're gonna carry Rudy for a little bit, so we're away from the elves' house,
Mhm.
and then I'm going to cast invisibility on
Wilhelm.
Wilhelm, and then I will.
Wake up Donovan.
Yeah.
Slap his
Okay.
face.
Alrighty. Are you guys ready to do all that?
Yes.
I'm already unconscious.
So you wake up Donovan by the banks of the lake, and he comes to and he's like, "Oh, Constable!"
And I took Rudy's advice. I have like a black eye, and I'm very bruised. And Donovan, I
Wait.
forget his name.
How did we get here? What happened?
Donovan, get up. We must move this prisoner to the Flamekeepers.
Wait, where's Allard? Where's the bot boys? And where did everyone go? What happened to them?
I am saddened to tell you that they have been murdered by this wretch and her cronies.
That's terrible. Oh well.
Yes, I am also okay with it. Now we must take her. Come, help me. This one's quite heavy.
She's under though, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Are we going to
Mm.
take her directly back to the church or to the tavern?
I want to take her to the church first.
All right. I was going to be taking another group in another couple days out to the swamps, so we won't have to hold her for very long if she resists.
We should maybe speed this up.
Let's go. He helps you with Rudy.
Drag her across town. Are you like dragging your feet? Like this?
Well, I'm asleep. I'm asleep.
Or-
What
I'm
about-
literally unconscious.
He says, "What about the others? There was one that was impersonating the Herman Bot, the Bot boy's father. What happened to him?
He died.
What about the other man?
He was. I killed him in combat.
A shame. They would have made good additions."
Yes, they were. They were very annoying in their combat. This was the only one we were able to succumb with the poison.
I see.
That Linus too escaped again.
But I thought we had him under.
He somehow managed to run away.
Make a deception check.
Damn it. 26.
It's just like what I guess it must just be like what happened with him the last time.
Yes, he seems to have some kind of unnatural resistance to the poison.
Well, let's head back then. The two of you drag Rudy's unconscious body along. How far behind are you going to follow invisibly?
I'm like 10 feet back, but I'm like just going for a stroll, you know.
Okay.
And like any time that they like move their heads in a way that might be towards me, I like go into sneak mode. But then whenever they're not looking at me, I'm just having a stroll.
Okay.
Donovan, that wizard might be after his possessions. We may need to acquire them and make sure that he does not get access to them.
They're still locked in the chests, I think.
We may need to keep them closer to us or move them.
Dana will know what to do.
Understood.
You head to the temple. You head to the church. Open through the doors, and without even stopping, Donovan opens all the doors for you and you bring Rudy. The main doors are opened, and you lead your way into the temple. I'm gonna have you make a stealth check now as you sneak in.
25.
Okay.
Boom.
The doors open to the main chapel. There, in the nave, is Flamekeeper Dana, who you spoke with before. She rises slowly as you come in, and she says, Gregor, is everything okay?
Many were killed. We have captured this one. She has succumbed to the poison.
It's just like with the tavern several weeks ago. We have to be careful.
Yes, the mage escaped again.
Again. He escaped again.
Yes,
We will need to find him and kill him.
he must die.
It seems that he has resisted our poison several times. We won't be able to bring him in. We will need to find another.
Do you have his possessions?
Yes, they are below.
We may need to move them, for he might come for them.
This is good. In this case, she turns. Donovan, would you be ready to set out tonight for the sanctuary? And Donovan says, I was hit in the head, but yes, there are a few of the others that were killed. Constable Gregor, do you think you could come with me?
Yes. We must move quickly.
We have the others to bring with us to the sanctuary. It's quite a few this time.
How many, Dana?
She says, we have the rest of the fishers and at least 2 other families to take with us. Only a few children this time.
Who else can help?
You may take a few of the others with you. They are within.
Then we must move quickly.
Absolutely.
Please, Dana, retrieve the wizard's possessions.
He will find these very, very valuable, I think. Make sure that they are kept safe. If anything goes wrong, these things are to be kept first. Amongst the wizard's possessions was more of the stone.
The stone.
The stone, Donovan says. The stone.
I repeat, the stone. He will be pleased.
Yes, he will. Are you ready?
Yes.
Very well.
Does she give me the possessions?
She gestures for you to follow. And she goes down She leads you through one of the doors to the side of the chapel, which leads, which this itself, it leads to a cellar beneath the church, the undercrofts. Normally, these undercrofts would be where members of the congregation, their ashes are kept, and there are still catacombs beneath. But there are usually cell doors to the catacombs, and as she leads you down into the catacombs underneath the church, you can see that some extra cell doors have been added. And as you head down the stairs, you can hear whimpering and crying. Now, Wilhelm, how are you following?
As the group kind of goes down, I'm gonna try to just tail them and, like, not make any extra noise, but, like, as they're shuffling and there's footsteps, I'm kind of matching with the crowd of footsteps, and I'm just a few feet behind.
Okay. Dana leads you down to the bottom of the stairs, where at the base of the stairs before in the catacombs proper, there is what would have been at one time an embalming chamber. There are still some scissors and other implements here, but down here waiting is the other Flamekeeper. And Dana sees her and she says, Adelheid. Adelheid herself is an emaciated looking woman, and her face has become very thin, and all of her hair has fallen out, and it almost looks like her forehead is swelling, like there's some sort of wound, like she took like a head wound, like it's very clearly swollen on the top of her cranium, and as she looks, she opens her eyes, which have turned a bright violet, and she reaches out. She gestures with these spindly fingers towards Rudy, and she says in a raspy voice, "Place her on the slab. We will take her equipment and strip her bare. She will not need them."
Carry her over. Place her on the...
She says, "Fine weapons, armor, equipment, good things, yes, excellent." As she takes Rudy's clothing and leaves Rudy in basically just sackcloth clothes. She then pulls out a pair of manacles and removes the rope from Rudy and puts Rudy in a pair of manacles on both her wrists and her feet.
Cool.
Don't worry.
I still have her axes, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
You wish to keep... And she puts Rudy's equipment in a box, and she turns to Donovan and says, Donovan, you will bring the handcart this time. There are many things to bring back to him.
Yes. We need to move the wizard's possessions as well.
They must be kept safe, Gregor.
I understand.
Go. Chain her to the others. Prepare to take them out to the swamp.
Yes.
She
Keeper.
opens the keys. She takes the keys and opens the crypts. And there are about 18 other people. About 10 of them are children, and the rest are other members of the village. Most of them are crying. All of them have been blindfolded. They put a blindfold on Rudy as well.
Now, any able-bodied men?
They're all in manacles, and as you come in the room, guarding the group of them are 5 of these creatures that you encountered in the tavern cellar before. They smell awful, and they are these hulking lizard-like creatures they are openly tending to the group of them, and they are starting to pull them up by their chains and rouse them into moving.
I'm going to affix. Now she's still unconscious, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna shackle Rudy to the to the others. With the
One of
help
the creatures
of Donovan.
growls and notes that she's. And as you shackle him in, one of the creatures takes his hand and slaps Rudy hard in the face.
Oh,
Rudy, you wake up and take 4 points of damage.
Oh! Ah! What that? Where are my clothes? Where are my clothes? Where is my stuff?
The creature says,
Quiet!
you will speak when spoken to, prisoner. But then I say in my mind, Rudy, it's okay.
You know what? I'm gonna get you when I get out of these manacles for killing my associates, dragging me here and taking all my stuff. You'll pay for this.
She has a powerful spirit, says Adelheid. But the master has another gift prepared. If she resists, she may be a good candidate for the next gift.
Yes.
And as she finishes that sentence, you almost see like this pulse on her head, on like one of the veins on her head.
I don't need any gifts. I have everything that I need right here. It's fine. Please just keep what your guy's gonna give me. I don't need it.
Adelheid places her spindly hand on your shoulder. She's freezing cold and has like this slightly slimy sweat to her, and she says, "Never you mind. Everything will make sense soon. You will be okay."
And I just keep looking at from the corner of my eye at you, Wrath, as the constable, and I'm like, everything does not seem to be okay, but you know what? There seems to be nothing I can do about it, so take me wherever you're gonna take me.
I start to get the other prisoners standing.
Wilhelm, where are you as all this is going on? Have you come downstairs?
I've come downstairs and I'm
Okay.
observing all of this. When they take Rudy's belongings and put them in a box, are they loading that box onto this handcart?
Yes.
Am I able to sneak up and mark the box?
Yes. Make a stealth check.
30.
Okay. As you do so, that pulse of veins in Adelheid's mind on her cranium, it goes off again. And she says, "How many?" She looks, her eyes dart across the people in the room. She says, "I feel there are 25 that I see, but there are 26 minds. There is someone close."
That might be my owl, who is quite close normally.
No, it is a higher mind.
Houdini is quite an intelligent guy. I taught him how to,
Is it the wizard?
do his business in a litter box.
Silence!
Crap, man.
Is the wizard... The wizard could have spells. He could be watching. He could be near. Make a deception check.
At this point, I'm pressed against the cart, realizing what's happening.
28.
Good.
She turns her mind. She closes her eyes.
I start thinking, what was it, the rock? The stone?
Oh, the stone.
The stone.
The
The
stone.
stone. The stone.
The stone.
I do like Village of the Damned. You know, when the kids are trying to, like, I don't know if anybody's seen that movie here, but when the kids are trying to, like, break into the teacher's mind and all he thinks only of a brick wall so that the kids can't penetrate his thoughts. I'm doing that. I'm just
Okay.
thinking of the stone. Nothing
Okay.
else.
All right. I'm going to have you make an intelligence saving throw.
Uh-oh. Actually, I'm not bad with that.
You.
I am going to use a luck point.
We remembered. Yay.
I get a 16.
Adelheid, her it's like this fluid sort of liquidy sound as the veins on her cranium kind of go, and she looks around and she looks directly at where the cart is, where Wilhelm is. She looks at the space where you are standing, and she says, and in that moment a rat squeaks out and walks across the room. And she says, "Strange. It is like there was something there. Maybe a passerby outside. There is something, though. Be careful. Did you kill the outsiders? The other outsiders, where are they?"
The other two, yes. We were only able to capture this one.
Make one more deception check.
It could be the wizard.
26.
He might follow you. He might try to get his things back.
We have his things.
He might call for help.
He
You
is
must keep them
powerless.
safe.
I understand. Flamekeeper.
Be careful. You should go now.
Understood.
So who all is coming?
So there are the constable,
Yes.
there-
Donovan.
these 5 creatures,
Oh god.
and then that's it.
And the prisoners.
Yep, the prisoners.
Okay. And are we starting down this like tunnel? Is that
There's a passageway that leads out, but then Donovan is there is a set of caves and passages that lead out of the church, and then they end about a half-mile outside town, and from there it's into the swamps.
while we're traveling through, these 5 creatures, are they all around the prisoners, or are they kind of up near the front guiding, or basically, do I have an opening to stealthily sneak over to Rudy and lockpick her manacles?
Well, the procession is moving along, but as they are getting their things together to leave, it's gonna be, your invisibility is gonna wear off.
So we
Yes.
have 1 hour
Yeah.
from the time I cast it.
Yeah. Right. So by the time they get everybody together and get them out, it's getting close to your invisibility wearing off. With your stealth check, you can get away easily. That's fine. But it's going to be over by the time you get an opportunity to sneak up to Rudy.
Okay, so I won't even be... So
Yeah.
my invisibility's wearing off, like, as we're entering the tunnel.
Once, like, it takes them a moment to get organized to get up to go.
Yeah.
So if you want to try to get Rudy out, like unlock her manacles while they're still there, you could try that too. Do that early, but then it could get detected. It could still get detected as they're moving out.
I guess there's no way for us to talk, eh?
No. Basically, just as the procession is vacating, like once we're out of eyesight of bulging head lady, I would like to immediately try to unlock the manacles and then I'm going to fall back and follow from the darkness at basically as far back as I can be.
Okay. So as the procession leaves, you have 6 minutes left on your invisibility. Make a stealth check.
Can I
Luck.
Can I also start to like? I guess I don't know he's there, eh?
No.
Okay. No,
I get a 13 on my stealth check.
13. Okay. As you go to unlock Rudy,
I was gonna say, can I help him? Makes
The-
like noise.
Rudy notices you, but
In the moment she
Yeah.
notices me, I whisper, I'm like, it's okay.
but
What
nobody
are
else.
you
But
doing?
remarkably,
Okay.
nobody else does.
wow!
Make it but you're only gonna get one attempt to to open these manacles before you have to get away.
I just used my last luck point.
It's
So when I use Thieves' Tool to unlock, is it just a D20 plus proficiency?
Plus dexterity.
Plus dexterity.
Yep.
You got it.
19.
They do not open.
I'm sorry, Rudy.
If you want to risk it and make another stealth check with disadvantage, you can try again.
I say, don't worry about me. I'm gonna send Houdini over to you.
Don't worry.
Don't worry.
I fall back.
Okay.
And I send a message to Houdini, who's close by in the trees, to say, "Find Wilhelm when
Okay.
when you see him."
The familiars are following Wilhelm.
yeah. You got it, Bruce. When do we start to emerge into the wilderness again?
So the group almost immediately, Donovan leads the way. He seems to be the one that regularly leads the group, and as he leads you out through town, he leads you along what has now become a rather well-worn footpath. It wouldn't look too different to any footpath that you would see leading to a farm or to a home or to anything. Passing by it, you wouldn't think anything of it. But this is a footpath that definitely large groups of people take on a somewhat regular basis. And so he leads that out through some of the farmland that is still around town and through the forests, but it isn't long, and it follows kind of the way that the stream drains into the wetlands themselves, and isn't long before you hit the wetlands and the swamps properly.
I stay far enough back to see them, but also far enough back that if they turn around, I can like throw my cloak up and be super still and just look like part of the swamp, I hope.
Okay.
That's my plan.
Yeah, you're
it's
just
a
a
green
swamp. You're
it's a
just a
green
swamp
cloak.
guy. You're a swamp
guy.
There's just swamp. Here is a plant. I am a plant.
They leave in the midst of the night, and the group and Donovan says to you, he says, "Gregor, we will travel for some time in the night. The first day we will wait, so we do not have to travel by night anymore. The people, the other townsfolk, it is not good for them to travel at night."
Is there a general, like, are they, like, whining and complaining?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So they're, like...
They're blindfolded, and several of them are gagged. During the day, Donovan has in his handcart, he has some really bad trail rations and some water skins that they get to drink something and eat something once. Because also there's several children and young people and people that aren't in great condition, the group only travels for about 4 hours a day instead of 8 hours a day. So it will actually take them a week to reach their destination.
Oh.
And I'm the loudest one of them all.
What are you doing about your disguise?
So, I have a bladder issue, and I'm glad you brought it up. I'm gonna use Rudy as a means of my disguise. So, pretty much every hour, I'm gonna check in with Rudy and get in her face, and she's gonna get in mine. So I'll say something like, "Rudy, do you try to break out of these chains?"
Of course.
And then I'm gonna use that as a way to reestablish my disguise as the constable.
Okay.
I get beat a lot.
In the midst of that, you are probably able to.
And I'm the one that does it, and I go.
Okay. Alrighty. So it is just the first day setting out. We will see how this plan goes after our break. And we are back from our short rest.
I want to give a shout out to Tabletop Audio. As always, they provide our ambient music, and they made this fantastic soundtrack for our opening intro. Please check it out, tabletopaudio.com. It's all free, and it's all there for you.
Don't forget to take a look at the links below for our Teespring store, where you can find all of your favorite Dungeon Dudes t-shirts, like Troll Killer, Dungeon Dudes logo, and of course some new ones like Way Bigger Than Ducks, the Dusk Wardens, and Clunk Clunk. Check out bit.ly/Dungeon Dudes merch.
If you're enjoying the stream and you want to support our work, please check us out on Patreon. You can find out how by following the links below or at patreon.com/dungeon_dudes. We also have a phenomenal Discord community exclusive to our patrons where you can join us and chat with us about all things Drakkenheim, all things D&D, and any nerdy stuff that you want to talk to us about. So check us out on Discord.
With that, let us return to the shadows. It has been several hours since you ventured out of the small town of Shaftburg along a muddy path beyond the bubbling brook that leads deep into the swamps of the wetlands. Donovan, one of the members of the militia, is still rubbing his head from the wound earlier. He's still got his militia's outfit, and he's picked up a new crossbow and a club, and he's leading the group, and he keeps gesturing the direction. With him are these 5 scaled creatures who, by what little moonlight and little illumination you can see, because Donovan himself is carrying a torch, he can't see by night. These creatures are slinking in the darkness, and each of these ones themselves now carries a spear, and several of them also have shields on their backs, as well as lashes that they can use to whip out at the people who are moving too slow. They are large creatures. They're stooped over. Maybe if they could be at their whole height, they might be as tall as 7 feet tall, but they stoop over, standing about the height of a typical man. They are these heavy lizard-like creatures, but they don't have tails. They kind of have this very short nub. It's not like a long swinging tail behind them. And their claws themselves are hand-like, but there's these thick knobbly bits of flesh and bone and protrusions from parts of their scales. They wear little in the way of armor or other clothing beyond the weapons that they carry, and a few leather bandoliers and other things to hold their equipment in place. One of these creatures is jostling along an ox, which they pick up outside the village to pull the cart. A foul-tempered creature that is pulling this cart that has a couple locked chests in it. And before you left, you were given the keys to the chest as the constable.
As the constable does.
And a few of them that have been marked. And then there's another container that is just a barrel of fresh water. And several gourds to distribute the water with, and a few stale bits of bread, some cheese, some jerky, and just provisions for the trip. Because as as Donovan reminds you, the journey will take about a week because the people, they can't. Normal people don't walk for 8 hours in a day. Given that there are children and people who aren't athletic amongst the group of people, and they're manacled, you're only going to get about 4 hours of good travel in each day. It's made even worse by the fact that you're traveling over mud and difficult ground. Donovan, the whole group of the people, they've all been stripped of their possessions and belongings and are all wearing sackcloth clothes, belted together with bits of rope. They've all been manacled together and into a chain gang. And again, you have the keys to the manacles.
Interesting. Interesting development.
As the group, as you move along, Donovan says to you, "Gregor, it has been some time since you came out this way. Do you remember the way?"
No, Donovan. I believe you must lead me.
Very well. Usually after the first day, we reach the deeper into the swamp, where several of the others will meet us and help us along the rest of the way.
I know you have done this many times. Have you done it with this many?
Yes.
Have you done it with this many children?
Yes.
Have you had any issues?
Once or twice, but we bring back as many as we can. If any of them slow us down, the others can eat them.
I understand. We must bring as many as we can.
He gestures to the... When he says the others, he gestures to the lizard.
When will we make camp?
We will travel until dawn. And then we will... Usually there, by the rocks, there is a small cabin that we have taken. The others can rest there during the day. We travel usually at dusk or at dawn. When there is not too much light, it disturbs them greatly.
I have concerns that the wizard might be nearby.
Then we must get to the cabin as quickly as we can so that the others can help us.
I understand.
This is what I'm going to tell Rudy. There seems to be more coming. Can I interact with her at all, like in the chain gang?
He gestures to one of the children that is struggling. He says, "My nephew is not keeping up. I think the others will eat him tonight."
Do I hear this?
Yeah.
Can I move around towards the kid who's struggling?
Yeah.
Okay. I say, "Little one, I think you need a little bit of help here," and can I put him on my shoulders?
Yes, you can.
Okay, I put him on my shoulders, and I give the dirtiest look to Donovan.
This is allowed for some time before one of the lizards takes the boy down and smacks its chops at him.
I stay by him. I'm like, if he takes it, I'm not gonna let them have him. I'm like, smack your chops around something else.
I'm going to approach Rudy, and I'm going to give her one of the... I'm going to give her a whack in the head. And I go, "You will not help the others." And at this time, I'm going to try to unlock her manacles.
Okay. Make a stealth check.
You're getting all up in my face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I yell as you're doing it.
Because the others don't because the rest of the group doesn't suspect anything from you, you can do the stealth check with advantage.
Ooh. I get up all in your face, kind of like covering with my body, like knowing you're doing this, and saying, "You can't stop me from helping the youngins."
I get a 20.
Okay, her manacles are unlocked. Do you release the manacles or just release the lock?
I just unlock it
Okay.
and then remove the key.
Okay.
And I'm just going to do her hands
Okay.
for now.
Most of the group, they're
Is there anything on the
they
feet?
they don't have tough manacles around their feet because they need to walk. Right? So you can still walk, but you can't run with these manacles on.
Okay.
Say, "You get on out of here. I don't care if you're in charge. I'm gonna help the youngins."
The others need to eat.
Well, they can eat whatever comes out of the swamp. Then they can eat each other for all I care.
Pipe down. You will not be so talkative when you meet him.
Donovan says, "She's a real talker. We should gag her."
Agreed. And I gotta do, I'm sorry, man. and I gotta put a gag in. Not a tough one, but
And I turn to you and whisper with the gagging, "Never again. Never again."
I'll try not to. I'll make this the last time. The best I can.
The journey proceeds for a few hours. Over the course of the time, you can exchange some brief messages with each other. Is there anything that you would like to do while you're traveling?
Do they continue walking the whole time?
Yeah.
What's our plan? I'm like you like fall back. You fall back a little bit, and I just like poke out of the bushes. I'm like, Wrath, what's our plan? I'm not invisible. I haven't been invisible for hours.
So I'm gonna when I see you from far away, I'm gonna telepathically tell you we are moving towards a cabin. There will be more there. We may need to release Rudy quicker and kill the other lizard folk. Can you ambush them?
Absolutely.
My message to you, Wrath, is, "Can you unpoison me, please?"
The ointment.
So the first thing I also want to do is, can you give me sort of a rundown on some of the other prisoners?
Yeah, absolutely. So as I said, there's 18 other prisoners total. 7 of them are children. And the of the prisoners entirely, about 8 of them are able-bodied adults, 7 of them are children, and 3 of them are older adults. Right? And by able-bodied adults, I mean people over the age of 15. Okay. And by children, generally those that are under the age of 12, right? Because again, this is a pre-industrial society. Once people get to be 13, people think of them as adults.
Okay.
They're young, but they're not children anymore. There's no concept of a teenager. Does that give you an idea of
Yeah.
that? Or
Because
these people, the other thing to bear in mind as well is these people have hoods over their, like they're blindfolded and their face and gagged in most cases, and you've never met any of them in your actual life before.
Yeah.
Right? It seems that a few of them might be Donovan's
like one was like his younger nephew, like very young.
So like some of them seem to be part of his family, and you overheard someone mentioning that Donovan is also a shopkeeper's brother or something like that. So the connection, like some of them might be related in some way. But overall, amongst the group, what you can kind of discern is that there's definitely 3 families amongst the group of people and their children, and then a few others that have been pulled into it, like their grandparents and others amongst them.
Okay, so the next thing I want to know is these creatures. Can I call them humanoid? These other creatures?
They are humanoid in nature, like in the fact that they're bipedal. If they are truly humanoid, like could you target them as if they were a humanoid creature, like their subtype?
That's my hope. What I know.
Are you trained in nature?
No.
Are you trained in Arcana?
No.
Okay. So no, you can't determine.
I can guess.
Yeah, you can guess, but you can't determine. Whatever these creatures are, they're not human, and they're not human. But whether they have become so turned that it has actually changed their type, it's not clear.
Understand. After traveling with them for a bit, do they talk amongst each other?
No.
Do they speak any language?
They grunt and they growl to each other, but they don't even speak to speak to Donovan. Donovan barely speaks to them either.
I'm going to pick 2 of these creatures, and I'm going to say, Donovan, how close are we to the meeting point?
He looks up. He says, another 2 hours or so.
Understood. And I'm going to motion to 2 of them, and I say, you 2, move ahead and make sure that the others know that we are going to meet them. And I cast suggestion.
Okay. So are you going to conceal the trappings of your spell casting?
Does it have like a... Because it says
yes.
Vocal.
Yes. So when you cast a spell, you have to incant arcane language, which sounds weird. It's recognizable.
Do you need a distraction?
Yeah.
Darn it. Okay.
Yeah. So just to remind you that it's not. Suggestion is not just as simple as speaking the words of the suggestion. You actually have to say incant arcane language.
Could I do it telepathically?
No. The nature of arcane magic requires you to speak the words.
I can still distract if you need me. I can cause a ruckus.
What if But now if I don't do a vocal component, it's all just hand waving, right? Just a whole lot
Well,
of...
suggestion doesn't have any... Suggestion simply has a verbal and material component. So you need to handle your spellcasting foci and speak the words to incant the spell. And then you deliver the suggestion.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. Maybe I'll...
So if you want to
save
hold...
that in
yeah.
my back pocket.
But if you just want to say to them, go ahead of us...
You are the one in charge here.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah. I just don't cast the spell.
Okay, you just say, go
You
ahead.
two, scout ahead and make sure the others know that we are coming. Make sure the way is safe. And beware of the wizard.
They look at each other, they look back at you, they nod, and they run forward.
I have so much power!
From the tree line, I look at you and I nod.
And I shrug.
Is it now? Is now the time?
We should wait.
I'm using one of the doses of poison on my crossbow bolts.
Okay.
So I'm going to poison one of my crossbow bolts.
And then I'm gonna wait till they're far enough ahead.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go back to Rudy and give her another whack. Wham! And then the dosage, I just rub it on her, right?
Darn it, sir.
Yeah.
Can I hide it behind a whack?
Make a sleight of hand check.
And a whack. 12.
Yeah. No one seems to notice.
Wham! And I rub it in a little bit.
Thank you, sir, for your kind gesture. I'm gonna remember this.
And then
And I heal, right?
Yep.
and in that moment
I look well rested.
I'm gonna just look into your eyes, Rudy, and I just hold the axes in my hand.
Weren't those in the...
No, I kept them the whole time.
Oh, okay.
I took them off you really early. So they have everything else.
Are they my non-magical ones or my magical ones?
Just so you are aware as well, she's still blindfolded and gagged.
I'm gonna say into your mind, Rudy, I go, be ready. Wilhelm is going to begin the assault soon.
All right. Sounds good.
Are you ready?
Sorry, I'm gagged too. I'm like, I
Not. Yell violently if you are ready, and say another. Perfect. Nailed it. And then
There's 3 of them left, right? Two ran ahead, so there's 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you look over at the woods and nod? All right.
yeah, I give you the I do the secret call sign.
As he does that, I pull out my crossbow and shoot the poison dart at Donovan.
Okay. So first of all, what I'll have you guys do is roll for initiative.
Ooh.
Do I get a surprise round?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Get Rudy her things. Actually, she can't. Donning armor takes a while. You're gonna have to fight armorless.
I'm fine.
Good luck.
Rudy.
18.
Okay. Wilhelm.
14.
Okay.
6.
Okay.
I'm really in character.
Okay. So yes, you get. I'm gonna give you, because you all know what's going on. You all have surprise,
Wonderful.
Ooh.
and the first to act in the surprise round is actually Rudy.
Oh, yes. Okay. So I don't have any of my weapons, right?
Yep.
Okay. Instead,
Although, actually, now that I think about it, your signal is
to him.
for him to attack,
That's fine.
or is you breaking out his signal?
I think you were giving him a signal.
I signaled to Wilhelm, and then I'm holding the axes.
Yeah, it's
for-
okay. Yeah, I
for
was like,
Rudy.
would it make sense that Rudy would be able to act in the surprise round? I'm gonna say yes.
So you're
Yeah, go
holding
for
them
it.
in front of me?
Yeah, and because I have my back to them after I gave you the ointment, and then
So you do the flail, which sets the whole thing in motion, and both Rudy and I are basically acting at the same moment.
Now, question. I'm blindfolded still.
Mhm.
Didn't remove my blood. Is that an action to take off the blindfold?
I'm gonna say that it is that with your that it's a like an object interaction to pull it off your head because it's not in place very very hard,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can take your weapons.
Okay.
But I think that's gonna be your whole action or your whole movement because you got to take off the blindfold and pick
You
up
give me
your
an
axes.
action. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, action take off my blindfold, grab my axes, but I still want to keep the chains in my hand.
Okay.
And
So you're keeping the manacles on your arms?
kind of I don't want to keep them there as like to restrain me, but I almost want to shake them off and take them as an object. Can I do that? Okay. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to take my axes.
Okay.
I'm going to take the chains,
Okay.
turn to the lizard man beside me, and start to whip them around his neck and pull.
Okay.
I've been waiting to do this.
Cool. This is your moment.
Are you going to action surge to do that? Because you need your action to do that.
Yes, I'm going to action surge to do
Okay.
that. And then as my bonus action, as I am pulling him with the chain, I am going to shift.
Okay. So I'm going to have you make a athletics check with advantage to start strangling him with the chain.
20.
Okay. So you've got him grabbed. Okay. And because you're going for his neck, you are starting to choke him out. Okay. So I'm going to basically start tracking him like he's suffocating. So he'll only have like a couple rounds before he goes out. As long as you can hold him out. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Nice. Wilhelm.
All right, so a poison bolt at Donovan to try
Okay.
to out-subdue him. Do I have advantage on that shot?
Yes, you are hidden from him.
I crit.
Okay.
I'm trying to calmly subdue him. I'm not going to use sneak attack, even though it's my first crit, and I'm very upset about this because I'm trying to leave him alive.
So you basically hit him in the bottom of the skull with the dart, and the poison goes right into his...
And he just falls.
He just falls.
And am I still hidden if I turn my crossbow on one of the... Like, is this fast enough, or is it? Am I now
unless you have the
revealed?
skulker feat, you've revealed your position.
All right.
Yeah.
Then actually, but I attacked as my action. I can't do my bonus action attack first because it's only after crossbow expert's only after I attack.
Yeah.
As an action. Okay. Then I'm going to shoot a crossbow at the lizard man standing behind Wrath.
Okay.
18 to hit.
That is a hit.
Yeah.
Get him.
I can't get sneak attack on that one. Can I?
Under these circumstances, no.
No. All right.
Yeah.
That's 7 damage.
Nice. Yeah, because technically they go before you in the initiative order, so they're not surprised anymore.
I'm going to kind of run up towards revealing myself now.
Okay. So, Donovan is out like a light. Wrath, you're up.
I am going to turn and launch an Eldritch Blast at the closest, other than the one that Rudy has. I'm going to shoot the one maybe that you shot.
Yeah.
And then I'm also going to recall Bruce to try to get back into the fight. I don't know how far he would be if he's hanging out with... If Bruce... Can Bruce make it?
Bruce will make it back at your next turn.
Okay,
Yeah.
groovy. So
Yeah.
he's coming back into the fight. I crit.
Hey!
Sorry, Bruce. I don't need you, big guy. Oh no, sorry.
We've been chilling. They've been good travel buddies.
Do I have my +5 as well for the crit?
You add the damage, yeah.
Yeah, so it's...
But it's not doubled.
No, it's 20,
Max- yeah.
21.
Nice. That leaves him bloodied.
And then I'm going to shoot at him again. Okay.
Ooh.
I get a 17
That hits.
for 7 damage.
Okay. Nice.
revealing my true self.
Top of the round with these lizard creatures. The one howls in fury, having been shot by you, and it launches itself towards you in a fury, and assaults you viciously with its attack, with its claws.
Oh, perfect.
Getting a 14 to hit,
Oh, yeah.
a 21 to hit,
Oh, yeah.
and a crit.
Oh, God. It viciously is right.
So the first hit does 9 damage, the second hit does 6, and the crit does a total of 12 damage.
Oh.
Just launches into you. It throws its weapons, its spear down, and just brings its claws to bear and starts mauling you like a savage beast.
I laugh when I shoot my bolts, but then I scream as I get mauled to...
The one that is being strangled by Rudy tries to break its way out. It may
We
so
do strength?
opposed athletics checks. Yeah. Uh-oh.
8.
I get a 20. So it pulls itself forward and snaps the chain out as it does so, and pushes you away from it. Okay.
That's really cool.
And it gasps for air. The other it turns to you, and it all of a sudden opens its mouth and looks directly at you. And as it does so, this octarine energy coalesces around its eyes and mouth, and it reaches out with its claws towards you, and the energy suffuses itself into the manacles around your feet. And all of a sudden, the manacles begin to burn white hot.
Fun.
Ah!
And so, Rudy, you take 12 points of fire damage. You can't drop the object because this is attached to you. It's the manacles on your feet. So you have disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks until the start of your next turn.
Disadvantage?
And it is your turn.
I'm gonna call in Houdini for some help.
Okay.
So I have these anklets burning, but I'm still by this guy that I strangled,
Yes,
right?
you are.
All right. Can I strangle him with the chains on my feet?
The chains on your feet are attached to two other people and are burning hot.
Okay.
If you want to try to grab them, I'm gonna have you make a Constitution saving throw to hold on to them.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna
Okay.
do that.
Okay.
And disadvantage, right?
Not disadvantage on the saving throw.
Oh, okay.
So you rolled 2 dice already?
Yeah.
So on a 1, 2, 3, it's that one. On a 4, 5, 6, it's that one.
Okay.
It is that one.
Okay, cool. 8.
You go to pick up the chain, but it's too hot, and you drop it.
Okay. Instead, then, is the guy
And you
still
take 2 points of fire damage.
is the guy still within my grasp though? Like he's still close?
He is still close.
Okay.
But you started your action to do this. So what do you want to do?
Bite him.
Okay.
With my bonus action.
Yep, you can bite him.
And that's with disadvantage?
Yes.
Will Houdini help?
Yeah, Houdini could fly in
Yeah.
now and give you and help you.
Oh!
So then regular. Oh, okay. Yay. 23.
That's a hit.
So this is my you guys have never seen me shift before, so like my face is turned into this like wolf-like creature, and I'm just like rapidly going after this guy with like hands and claws, but I happen to like put my mouth out to like take a nice chunk out of him for 9 damage.
Nice. Well done.
Okay. Wilhelm, it is your turn.
Wrath, I've got you. I run and I kind of parkour over this cart.
Inventing the game. Inventing the movement of travel.
In this moment, I invent the step vault. And I step vault over the cart and bring my dagger down into the beast's side.
Oh man, I appreciate
Or
it.
not my dagger, my rapier. Ugh. Hurts. I get a 10.
It deflects off his armored hide.
As I swing around behind
It looks
him,
cool, but it does deflect off.
I deflect and I twirl around, and as my cloak flurls in the wind, I pull out my crossbow and shoot him in the back.
It's your move.
Getting a 19.
There it is.
That does hit.
And I'm gonna sneak attack.
I mean that in the best way.
I get a 12. 12 damage.
Okay. Wow, that was a very sad sneak attack.
Yes, thank you.
Wah, wah.
Thanks for rubbing
you
it
shoot
in.
the guy in the back. He's really wounded. He's screaming in fury, but he's still standing.
Oh my gosh.
I move back a little bit.
Donovan is unconscious.
Yes.
Wrath, it's your turn.
I start wildly trying to shoot this thing that's mauling me.
I tried to save you.
Okay, thanks, bye.
I mean, who?
Yeah, you got disadvantage on the
Bruce
shots.
tries to help.
Okay.
Can Bruce?
Yep.
And I get a. Oh my god, a 12.
The shot goes wide.
Ah! I'm panicking. I'm shooting again. Ah! I'm being mauled. My crit turned into a 21.
Well, could be worse. That one manages to connect.
Okay. Oh please get off me. For 14 damage.
It's bearing down on you to just take a chunk out of your throat, and you put your hand up against its face and blow out with the Eldritch Blast, and just its jaw and teeth fly off into the direction, blood splattering across some of the blindfolded children nearby.
And standing, as the head explodes, you see Wilhelm standing behind him, and I go, "You're welcome."
Oh my god! And I throw its body off of me.
Okay.
Actually, do I still have? Can I go to the cart and I'm gonna unlock? Do I have enough?
It would be an action to
Okay,
unlock
okay.
something. Yeah.
I'm gonna just recover from my wounds, my horrible wounds.
So seeing that, so Rudy is still biting at this other dude, who just he's not having any of this. He's going right back for you, Rudy.
That's fine.
Is it a biting match? Are they like?
Yeah. Just
Claws
snapping
and-
and biting. He gets a critical hit.
Oh no!
And he gets an 11 versus your AC.
No, only the crits. Even without
wait,
my armor.
even without your armor, what is your AC?
12.
Oh wow, okay. And then his last attack, he gets well over 12.
All right.
So the critical hit, that one is going to deal, ouch, 15 points of damage.
All right.
And the other hit is going to be 8 points of damage.
All right.
As he claw and bites into you.
You see these scratches across my face, but I'm still going at it.
Mm-hmm. The other one focuses the energy, and the burning continues on your manacles.
Oh no!
Dealing another 11 points of fire damage. And he makes his way and he himself also now he though sees Wilhelm through the crowd, and he muscles his way through the crowd towards Wilhelm.
Is that going to be difficult terrain for him?
Yes, but he has 30. I think he can still make it up to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he's gonna go for you, Wilhelm.
Bring it on, I say.
Getting a critical hit.
Oh
he
my-
brought it. Stop it.
And a 15 and a 12 to hit.
The 12 misses.
These
Thank
things have crit
goodness.
all of us.
Everybody
We
gets
made them-
crits.
You guys
So
also
bad.
rolled a bunch of
Yeah, I
crits,
did
too.
roll 2 crits.
I rolled a crit to.
Wilhelm,
Make
you're
the guy
crit
go
for
to
20
sleep.
points of damage.
Oh lord!
Oh gosh.
And the regular hit is another 6 points.
Actually, I'm gonna use Uncanny Dodge on the crit.
Okay.
Smart.
So I'm gonna gain 10 back. That'll help. Yes, as he crits me, I shrug it off. I parry.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Alrighty. So we go to Rudy. How
I'm
you doing there, Rudes?
gonna second wind. Gaining back 15
Oh, nice.
hit points. So you see some of the wounds on my face heal a little bit, and I go in for another grapple with Houdini's help. Because I'm still disadvantaged, right? Okay. So athletics. Woo! 24.
I get a 10.
Okay. So I'm grappling him.
Okay.
Okay. And the grapple counts as one
Yeah.
attack. I'm going to take another bite at the back of his neck
Okay.
while grappling him.
And do you want to? Because of the circumstances, because you're disarmed, I'll let you bite twice because you can bite with your second attack and bite with your bonus attack. Did you?
I use my bonus action for.
Oh, for second win. Okay,
second
so
win.
yeah, then you can bite him normally. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, that's suitable.
9.
Yeah, you bite him, but it just doesn't go through his scales.
Okay. But I've got him grappled.
Nice.
I say, guys, hit him up! Ah!
Wilhelm, we're over to you.
And I'm fighting this purple energy lizard who is focusing on her
Burning-
chains.
Yeah.
Burning my legs.
Seeing him glowing purple, I try to stab him in the mouth.
Okay.
19.
That is a hit.
I'm going to use my swashbucklerness
Okay.
to make that a sneak attack.
Oh, baby.
$17 damage.
Very nice.
nice.
He is not on the board yet. He does make his concentration check, though, to maintain the effect.
Then, with the rapier in his mouth, I pull out my crossbow and fire it into his mouth as well from
Go
close
for the weak
range.
spot. Just shoot the glowing weak spots.
That's the key. Uh-oh.
11.
11.
That is a miss, I'm
Oh.
afraid.
Oh.
Yeah, the crossbow shot goes wide.
I fall back.
Donovan is still out. Wrath.
I'm also gonna I'm gonna have Bruce leap in his face, and I kind of like compose myself. I think I'm gonna cast Hex on the one that Rudy's fighting, and I want to make him disadvantage in strength.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna just take a shot at the one that's focusing on the magic, and I get a 13.
That is a miss.
Oh, brutal!
It's a near miss.
And then I'm gonna take my second shot. A 17.
A hit.
And
The first shot goes wide, but the second one connects.
for 14 damage.
He is bloodied, but maintains his concentration on the magic.
I'm really glad you got rid of the other two.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember them being this tough.
The wounded one races to catch up with Wilhelm
No!
and physically assaults him,
Oh,
getting a 15 and a 23 and a 12 to hit.
the 12 misses.
Alrighty, he bites you for 10 points and claws you for another 5.
Can I use? I'm gonna use Uncanny Dodge
Okay.
on
leaps into you, his claw rakes across your chest, and he bites deeply into your shoulder.
Oh.
But you're able to pull yourself away, and just the teeth rake across your shoulder.
I am injured severely.
Rudy,
Feel
the
that.
other one attacks you, and remarkably,
Can he when he's grappled?
he can. Yes.
Okay.
He can continue to attack while he's grappled. Remarkably, I get a natural 1, a 2, and a 5 on the dice.
Oh.
So the highest to hit is a 10.
No.
So he tries and like,
He's almost like grabbing at his back as
yeah,
his arms
yeah,
pinned.
yeah.
Oh man.
Rudy, you're up.
All right. I'm gonna keep him grappled. Does he have to do a save for it at all?
No. Now that you have him grabbed,
Okay.
you can use your action however you like. You just have to keep one hand on him to keep him grabbed. Like you could punch him in the mouth, you could bite him, you can do anything you want with your action.
I, as my bonus action, call my battle axe back to my hand.
There it is.
And I wail on him twice.
Chopping into him? Yeah, sure.
And
This is
Houdini is
epic. This
flying
is
in his
awesome.
face. That's a 18 to hit.
That's a hit.
Getting that sweet revenge.
9 damage. And then the other, it's a 16 to hit
It's a hit.
for 11 damage.
Nice.
I let go of one arm, call it back to me, and I start.
Yeah. At this stage, there's like some commotion in the group of people. Like some of the kids are like, "What's going on?"
Their feet chains are being
Yeah.
pulled as
Yeah,
the, like,
they don't really know what to do. Like they're hearing these chopping noises and stabs, and they're getting really agitated and like they're
And I
like,
say-
"What?" Many of them are gagged and they can't talk. But like some
Cover
of
your ears, kids. I'm not even talking about that.
Don't
Mommy,
mind
what's
it.
all that red
Cover
stuff?
your ears.
That's why. Just keep your blindfold on. And
The
pretend like nothing's
blindfolds are getting blood all over them.
These things don't have like red blood. It's like bile.
Oh yeah.
All right.
That thick stuff.
Right. Wilhelm, you're up.
I can't compete with Rudy. Wilhelm just he kind of steps back and goes for one last plunge into the throat of the creature in front of
Do
him.
you dare to take the plunge?
I am taking the plunge. Cool.
Oh.
21.
That's a hit.
That's a plunge.
That's a plunge.
Get him.
Sneak attack. $17 more damage.
Okay, so you put as the thing pulls back after biting into you, you kind of like piston with the rapier right through the bottom of its throat and push the hilt of the rapier right up against its jaw, and it pulls back and its jugular puncture just overflows with a spout of
And then
blood.
I spin and pull out my crossbow and line my shot up to shoot the one that Rudy is attacking. And
He's grappled.
yeah, he's grappled. Does that give me advantage?
No.
Okay.
Technically, no.
Ah. I hit a tree.
It's like, I got him, he's open! Just shoot off
Yeah,
to
I
the
don't
left.
even look. I'm like, I've got it, Rudy. And I shoot and I look. I'm like, oh, that wasn't even.
You did the spin move and
Yeah.
you just over. You
I
on
overspun.
one of the trees, though, the squirrel is hit.
you strike it.
And I look over at Wrath and I go, dinner. You're welcome.
Can you save Rudy?
Okay, Wrath, it's up to you.
I'm gonna take some shots at. I'm gonna kind of position myself where I've got like a nice clear shot.
Yeah.
I send Bruce in, and I get like a 27 to hit with my hex. Only 10 damage, and then a 10 to hit.
So you miss.
I'm trying not to hit Rudy. I'm like trying really hard, and I just shoot it too
All
wide.
right. With its last amount of strength, it tries to rage and scratch and bite as it can at Rudy. Getting a 22 and a 24 to hit with its claws. It misses with its bite.
Rudy.
Dealing a grand total of 15 points of damage.
I'm just bloodied all over, but I'm
guys are
still
biting each other.
standing.
But with that, there's not much left to it, and you're able to finish it off.
Bite.
Silence does not fall as the sounds of battle slow down. Panic begins to rise amongst the people who, despite their gags, are going, "What's going on?"
I go and I stand on the cart and I'm like, people of Schaffberg, and I'm like
I'm
like
gonna start
wounded.
realizing-
And
I'm
you
like
stand on the cart and
bleeding.
you realize they're all blindfolded.
I'm like bleeding everywhere, and I'm just like, you have been rescued. We are here to save you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. You may
And then, like, some blindfolded people just gotta look up.
you may
that
remove
voice
your
coming?
blindfold. Can they move?
Wait. Before they do that, can we? I prestidigitate the blood off my face.
Can you prestidigitate my wounds? And I just like slump over and like,
I'm more wounded than
Dude.
you.
oh,
There's so much blood everywhere.
is this my blood or is this lizard blood? I can't tell the difference anymore.
I also prestidigitate all the blood off the people that splattered them as well. I'm just like, we'll get you cleaned up before
I
we do this.
I kick one of the boxes out of the cart and I'm like, Rudy, your things.
Thank you. And I put my gear back on, get my axes, get all sorted, and then I start to take the blindfolds off people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna start taking off their.
Many of the parents begin hugging their children, and surveying what's going on, and a few of the adults are like, "Oh, thank you." But many are also confused, and there's cries of "Where are we?" Most of the children start crying and bawling. Just this awful caterwauling of small children filling the forest and swamp.
As these children are crying, I'm like, I've done this before. And I call Houdini over, and I say, little ones, it's all right. And I make Houdini, like, fly over to them and, like, tilt his head sideways in, like, cuteness.
My friends, never remember rule number 67. When panic spreads, the calm are the victors. Nobody cares.
I want to. Wrath is gonna conjure an animal messenger. He finds the friend of the squirrel that Wilhelm murdered, and gives him a new life, and it's being a messenger. You are now in the service of Wrath. And I kind of lure it with an acorn, and I want to send a message to Linus that the where we are. So I'm gonna say something along the lines of. How far are we from town? Like,
Well, again, you were traveling with a bunch of children for like 2 hours, so you're really not that far. You're only a couple miles outside town, right? So definitely within the range of the animal messenger spell.
so I'm gonna send it to find Linus,
Okay.
the grumpy old man,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna say, we have your things. We are near the old tree line. Bring the elves for aid. We have prisoners. Hurry.
Okay.
I need healing soon.
And then I'm gonna make a tiny hut, and we can only fit 9 people in it, though.
The kids. And us.
We
There
can.
are 7 kids. One of them
What?
has to stay outside.
One of
No,
them- Yes.
we also remember that the others are expecting us shortly. They will come back.
There's a few people that are gathering around Donovan, and they look up, and one of them, she is a dark-haired woman of rather average complexion. She looks up and she says, "This is my brother. Is he okay?"
Well.
We don't know yet. Something is happening. to the people in Shaftburg?
Currently, he's just sleeping. Don't y'all worry about that.
As she says that, I yank the bolt out of the back of his head.
He just may have something going on with him, and we're looking for the source of.
He's been acting so strange. He came to visit me, and he
poisoned you.
He brought some beer and drinks over, and we had dinner, and then we woke up in that cell. Me and me, my wife, my children, all of us were all here. But it wasn't just him. My other brother as well, Stefan, he runs the shop. Well, he disappeared for a few weeks. Said he had to go to another town on business. Then Donovan was gone for a few weeks. And then this happened. What is going on in our town?
We are investigators, and we have come to solve this mystery. We're going to make sure that you are safe, and I assure you that in just a few days' time, hopefully we will have answers, and we will be able to do something for this town.
Is it safe back in town?
Not likely.
Everyone's been acting so strange lately. And we were down there in that cell for days.
There seems to be something that's taken over the minds of these good folks. We're here to figure out what it is and hopefully get them back to what they were before. But there are many folks in town that have already gone through this, and they may not be safe to trust.
Especially the Flamekeepers.
There's something wrong with them.
They seem to be leading the mission.
Adelheid, she's lost all her hair. It's disgusting to look at her. Did you see her?
Yes.
Big head, for sure.
It's like she's sick. Something's wrong with her.
Something's wrong with many people in this town, and we think the answer lies in where you were being taken, which is why we are on this path.
What are we going to do now? What are you going to do with Donovan?
Well, we sent some help, right?
We
Donovan,
sent for help, and Donovan, we need a guide. And he's going to be our guide.
He's going to take us to where they've been taking the others.
Where we're going. I heard them talking. They talk really strange to each other while we were in the cells. Those monsters. Oh. They said that they were going to take us to some sanctuary. That they were going to show us the way.
Sounds like what they were doing to everyone else.
It's beyond magic. It's something else. Something much...
Super magic.
I don't think it works that way.
Oh.
But you're onto something. We may also be able to find the cure. We may be able to reverse what they have done to him once we understand the source. They mention him or he. Do you know of what they speak?
No idea.
One of the crates has Linus's possessions in it, right? I open it up and I look inside because they had mentioned that Linus had in his possession a part of the stone.
Inside is several of Linus's spellbooks and a polished orb of delirium encased in glass.
Do I recognize it?
You recognize the stone, but you recognize that it is clearly that delirium, but it has been processed and rendered into an orb immaculately. There's also his wand and his staff, and several of the other crates contain treasure and gold. Like the villagers opening up some of the crates, it's like someone went through all of these people's homes and took the most valuable belongings that they had, any amount of money or gold or anything, and just piled them up and packed them away.
If this is, as they said, a piece of the stone, that means there is in fact delirium at play here. Whoever this he is that we are being led to is probably in possession of a larger portion of this so-called delirium.
More of it, for sure.
And that, in essence, is the heart of our problem. We saw it in Tearhaven and what it caused there. And even though slightly different and indirectly, it seems to be at the source of the problems here as well. I also don't know what a wizard is doing with a orb of this nature. Is this something that is common?
The Academy has experimented with delirium in various ways. Although the hope is to keep it within their grasp. This one, have you seen this type of stone before?
No, I've never seen anything like that before.
That makes it more difficult.
They seemed excited about it. They talked about it a few times that they'd found that, though, that they'd stolen that from somebody in the village.
Who else do we have amongst us that is okay to travel?
Most of us are tired and exhausted. We've been traveling all day already and all night. We haven't slept. I don't think we can go much further with the kids. If we can camp out, if we can stay safe, hopefully things will be all right.
How much longer do you think we can stay here without those guys coming back?
I'm not going to lie, I can't withstand another battle. I also need to rest.
Me too. I'm on the edge of my limits.
Perhaps
Those others are going to be expecting us, though.
We won't send you there. We'll have to go alone. We'll rest before. If you use the cart, do you think you can make it back to town?
Put the kids in there.
Mm-hmm.
We can try.
Hopefully,
They're traveling about 2 hours, so it'll be 2 hours for them to get back to town.
There is the mage, the wizard Linus. He should meet you along the way.
And the elves. Hopefully.
And hopefully the elves, they are to be trusted. And I'm going to kind of show them the list that Wellmouse. These are all those who have been taken. Some of you might be on this list.
By the sacred fire. The people, they're all the circled ones on the list.
You cannot trust those who have been marked off. They have been taken and processed.
Thank you. But it's not going to be safe for very long. I hope you can stop this.
Maybe we should travel back with them. We can meet with Linus. Tell him what we know, and then...
It's like half the village. The Flamekeepers, everybody.
I mean, I can't go any further. Not in my current condition.
I need to rest.
I know they will be waiting for us. But that's okay, because we'll still have to meet them eventually.
I think we need to let them go. They know the way back, follow the trail. But just in case those lizards come back, we need to be able to stop them from going after these folks. I say we rest up here, let them go back. It's a small time to travel.
Perhaps if we venture a little ways into the swamp. I know it's supposed to be dangerous and full of horrible monsters, but I don't want to be on the path either. That's not a good place to camp. Perhaps we can scout out like a fallen tree or a cave or a den of some sort nearby that might make a safer campsite for us.
Do you think it'll be okay to send them back with Linus's possessions along with all the treasure? Because if they encounter the Flamekeeper, they
They'll
might be
have
in for
it.
something.
Maybe we should keep Linus' stuff.
But Linus would be better with it.
I think we should travel with them back to meet Linus.
I think at least until we meet Linus.
Okay.
And then that way we can protect the villagers. Tell them what we know. And arrange for a way to deal with the Flamekeeper.
All right. Sounds like a plan, but before we come back, we definitely need a rest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You travel back the way you came with the other people and the cart and the unconscious Donovan. After only about an hour, you finally run into Linus, Lorwyn, and Donald. They hail you, and Linus gasps at the sight of his lost possessions. The elves are struck by the fact that you've rescued, that it's so many people. And Linus says,
I wouldn't believe it if I saw it. They took so many of them. They've been getting bold, they has, to take this many people out into the swamp. It's like they don't even care if they lose some. They just take as many as they want.
Especially the children. It's despicable.
They have control of the Flamekeepers. Fully.
Then it's just as we feared. They're taking control of the whole town, bit by bit. Getting people, locking them up, taking them away to whatever that place is they got in the swamp. Doing something to their brains.
Absolutely. That sounds about accurate.
Yes, Linus.
Awful magic.
I need you to contact the Academy and tell them what we're up against.
Absolutely. Now that I've got my orb and my staff and my books, I can call them up and let them know how things are going here.
Linus, when did you obtain that orb?
Oh, well, not too long ago, River brought it for me. Said that some of the good old friend of mine said that few folk in Drakkenheim had been finding good delirium and that the Academy had developed some new means and that I would have one for my very self.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
You see, the stone, the delirium, the Academy's been very interested in it for quite some time. It fell up from the sky on the meteor that destroyed the city of Drakkenheim. And for the longest time, we all thought, oh, it's cursed. But there's power in that stone, magic power. We've been studying it and finding out how to harness it, use it.
The two are not mutually exclusive of each other. Just because it holds power does not mean it's not cursed.
Right, you are. It's every bit as dangerous as a sharp forged blade.
Power is a curse.
Indeed.
The Academy does wield it, and in its early days and discoveries, it could be considered very misused. However, in times like this, being focused, it has immense potential to help us.
The word is, of course, that for all the help that the Academy has offered the newfound royal family, the Academy now will be able to study it as carefully as we can and determine exactly what it does. Used to have a tower for the Academy up in Drakkenheim. Greatest building in this whole part of the world, unlike anything you've ever seen. stretches all into the sky. And they say that there was a talented mage of the academy led an exposition into the city, took back the tower, and the academy's there again, figuring out how it all works.
They've reclaimed part of Drakkenheim?
And the academy has claimed the tower, at least. That's what they say.
This is a foothold for the Academy. It's one of the reasons I believe that we're on this mission.
I thought that city was nothing but dust and vermin.
Oh, it is. But the dust itself is powerful. You grind this stuff up, mix it with the right ingredients, liquid power. You got magic in your veins. You can drink it, and oh, the things it does. Gives that vigor to those old bones, like I could snap a spell like a young whippersnapper again.
That all sounds horrible, and I'm very concerned about your health. But then again, you're very old, so I mean, do what you want.
Sounds like got some powerful allies that we're working with and doing this for the Academy.
Now, is there a way we could rest?
yeah. I'm still bleeding out of
Like,
all my pores.
I open up my cloak and there's just like claw marks and bite marks everywhere.
Lorwyn says, with the rest of us, and Lioness checks that you both know the tiny hut, and so you can make 2 tiny huts now, which is enough to protect the most vulnerable of the group of people that you have. The rest of you, and you'll be able to camp out here. Lorwyn mentions that if, with where you are now, because of when your ambush happened, it'll take those 2 other creatures at least 2 hours to get to the cabin, and then an hour probably to realize that something bad happened, and then they would have to put together time, and by that time it'll be daylight.
And they don't like daylight.
Huh.
And it may be worth focusing our efforts now on taking back the town.
Taking back the town or finding where...
Well, I think that we go and kill the other creatures during the daytime when they
find
are
the source,
vulnerable.
too.
That could
Find
work.
that source.
If we rest now,
Mm-hmm.
then afterwards we part ways. We go and ambush them during the day when they're weakest.
Mm-hmm.
And then we use Donovan to lead us to this sanctuary. What do you mean
Lorwyn
taking
speaks
back
up,
the
though.
town?
Perhaps securing the town isn't a bad idea. It'll still take you several days to get to this sanctuary. What if other people are captured in the meantime? I mean, are these people going to stop?
I also worry that the influx of recent prisoners back into the city might draw suspicion.
Well, what do you mean retake the town?
We have now numbers against them. We have released many prisoners.
We still don't know if they're acting on their own accord.
And more than half the town is still under this influence. So regardless, are we going to fight more than half the town, or are we going to get whatever the source is out of the way and hopefully find a way to turn him back?
And also, and actually I pull Wrath aside, like closer to this so that nobody else can hear, and I'm like, you can't ask these people, you say we have numbers, but you can't ask these people to draw blades against their own family members.
No, it's not the other townsfolk, it's the Flame Keepers. They seem to be spearheading the capture and prisoners. They seem to be running this from the townsfolk side. They might be our best ticket to the sanctuary.
I'm wondering though, can the townsfolk that we just saved find a way out of town and not go back? I know it's a lot to ask, but that could help not draw suspicion to what the Flame Keepers might consider us revolted.
Do we send
One of
them
the
to
men says,
Tearhaven?
I've got a cousin, lives in a small village a few miles north.
we might be able to stay there. Everyone seemed fine there.
I would say if you can make your way back there, then at least it doesn't draw their thoughts to this going wrong. Right now, we have the advantage of them not knowing that we got out.
And so we could continue our journey towards the sanctuary.
I like that plan. Sounds like berries to me.
We can send a message when we're finished. Got this town all cleaned up so y'all folks can come back to your homes and your families.
All right. Well, with that, we will set out. We will see when you set out towards this sanctuary in the swamp. But for now, that's where we got to end for tonight.
We're all getting a long rest, right?
Yes.
Yay!
Yes. Yes, you will.
I have three health.
I have 7.
I need this.
Well, as before, just a quick announcement that to remind you that Shadows of Drakkenheim will not air next week, March 3rd, 2020. We'll be skipping over that, but Kelly will be running Monster of the Week with our good friend Mitch joining in as a player. So we will be returning the week after with our story here, Shadows of Drakkenheim. A big thank you, as usual, to Jill, Kelly, and Joe for playing. Another awesome game session tonight.
And a huge thank you to Kyle for all of his amazing work behind the scenes, keeping that chat alive, keeping the show running. There it is. And a very special thank you to our wonderful Dungeon Master, Monty Martin.
And as always, a big shout out to Tabletop Audio. They provided our soundtrack for our fantastic intro music. You hear it all throughout the game. You can use it in your own game. Tabletopaudio.com. It's all free.
Don't forget to take a look at the links below for our Teespring store, where you can find all of your favorite Dungeon Dudes merch, including some of our new shirts, like Way Bigger Than Ducks, the Dusk Wardens, and Clunk Clunk, bit.ly/Dungeon Dudes merch.
Of course, if you are enjoying the stream and you want to help support our work, please check us out on Patreon. You can find it by following the links in the description below or at patreon.com/dungeon_dudes.
We also have a phenomenal Discord community that is exclusive for our patrons. So if you are on our Patreon, join us on Discord and chat with us about all things Drakkenheim, all things D&D, and we just love to chat about all the nerdy things we're up to. And yeah, it's a great place to hang out with us. So join us.
Of course, please don't forget that Kelly and I post new videos every Thursday on our YouTube channel where we cover everything Dungeons & Dragons, including advice for dungeon masters and guides for players. So check that out at youtube.com/dungeondudes.
And be sure to join us live next Tuesday when we record the campaign live on Twitch. Check us out from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Time at twitch.tv/dungeon_dudes. You can also watch the video episodes of the show on YouTube.
Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time in the Shadows of Drakkenheim.